Guys, I know how frustrating it is to have big goals and aspirations for yourself, yet your behaviours seem to be in direct opposite to what it is you want. You want to go out into the world, you want to find your purpose, your mission, you want to create an online business, you want that beautiful relationship, yet your behaviours seem to take you in the opposite direction. Your behaviours seem to want to sabotage the growth that you know you're able to achieve. And so you just have this life where you want something and you're doing nothing towards it. And there's obviously beliefs that you have that the beliefs are telling you that it's just not possible. Yet deep down you know it is. But it's your conditioning that tells you it's not possible. It's not reality. It's literally your thoughts are telling you that you can't do it. And because your thoughts tell you you can't do it, because your conditioning is powerful, you essentially can't. You can't really do something if you think you can't do it. Now, when you're caught up in the I can't, that's a particular level of what's called consciousness, or we could even say emotion. And the emotion that's linked to the belief I can't do it is apathy. It's a form of depression. When you're in that energy, it can get quite heavy. It's what keeps you stuck in bed. It's what drives you to stare at your phone the minute you wake up. It starts your day by sapping your energy and spiking your dopamine, leaving you to spend the rest of the day just constantly needing more and more hits of dopamine just to feel anything. And it is in total opposite to the direction you want to be heading in life. Yet, for some reason, you just keep repeating that behaviour over and over again. I mean, that's apathy for you. It's hard to get out of, because when you have thoughts that tell you you can't do something, like you're not able, you're not capable of achieving something, you're essentially living within that reality. So you're almost like a radio dials in to the radio frequency that's already there. So you can have the radio antenna, and that can pick up the frequency of talk radio. The talk radio frequency was already there, right? The radio antenna picked that up. You can then change the dial and move to sport radio, to 60s radio, politic radio, whatever it is. Those frequencies are already there, and you can shift into each one using the radio and then listen and hear a completely different sound and different subjects being talked about. Now, we're not a lot different to that. I used to hear this talked about a lot and I never quite understood it, but now I fully understand it. The levels of consciousness, or we could just say the levels of emotion, are like the radio frequencies. So when you're experiencing thoughts and feelings linked to apathy, so the thoughts are I can't do it, and the feelings are heavy depression, depressive feelings, lack of drive, just a general low frequency feeling, numbness as well. These are all linked to apathy. You're living that reality and you can't do the things that you tell yourself you can't do. Now, the power of consciousness, the power of awareness, is to see that you're in that frequency, you're living that reality, but that isn't the only reality that's available to you. There's other frequencies that you can dial yourself into, almost like your brain is the radio, right? And you're dialing into different frequencies. So a level or two up from apathy and depression could be fear. So if you dialed into fear and you started living the reality of fear, now there's a little bit more forward momentum, because we can still do the things that we're afraid of. So can you get the sense that there's a little bit moving forward now? In the energy of fear, when you're tucked into fear, it's not that you can't, it's that you won't. that you don't want to do it. You're afraid to do it. But it's not I can't. If there's something we know we can do, and it's scary, there's going to be fear, because the fear is trying to stop us, but it's not keeping us completely in bed and preventing us from taking steps forward. Because we all do things that are scary. So in fear, there is a moving forward, but we're cautious. And that fear could come about as a result of thinking we're going to get hurt. And often that comes from our fear of rejection. So for me, I had so much apathy around recording videos because I was afraid of some form of rejection I might get from exposing myself to the internet and having a lot of eyes on me. That was pretty scary for me, and I know it's scary for a lot of guys, whether they want to admit it or not, especially when you're talking about the sort of things I'm talking about. I mean, this is the stuff that most people can't talk about with friends and family members. So to talk about it and put it out on the internet, it's a big thing. So of course I had a lot of apathy, and also had a lot of fear as well. So sometimes when I came out of apathy and I was experiencing fear, I would start recording videos, but I could never get beyond like a few seconds, just because the fear was too much. And the thoughts that were linked to that frequency of fear were like, what's other people going to think when they hear this video? I was thinking about them watching the video of me and them like thinking that I'm talking absolute shit or whatever it was, right? It was just feelings of rejection. It wasn't nice. So I was dialed into the frequency of fear. I was living that reality, so I was afraid of it. Now, with the power of awareness, and meditation is the best thing for developing awareness, we can catch ourselves in that frequency of fear. Now we're like, oh, okay, I'm experiencing fear. What other realities do I want to dial myself into? How about anger? There's nothing better to come out, no better way of coming out of the reality of fear than getting into anger. Because in anger now there's a moving forward. You're pissed off with the way things have been. You don't want to be stuck all your life. You don't want to be numbing yourself out with social media, constantly spiking your dopamine all day, needing to feel something because going outside and enjoying nature just doesn't do it for you anymore. Anger's a good way of getting out of that. You can get pissed off about the way you've been, and now you're starting to move forward in life. Now, anger's not the only reality for you to live in, but it's a higher frequency, right? You can see now that the energy of anger, you're moving forward, you believe you can do it, but you're still a bit pissed off in the world. So you push against the world. Like if you're trying to win clients from anger, you don't give a shit about whether they get anything from the product you're selling. You just want to get the money. So you're essentially using them. So you're pushing against the world, but the world pushes back. And so if you stay in the energy of anger and that reality of anger, you're going to get stressed. It's not going to be a particularly enjoyable and happy life because you're stuck in that reality. And a lot of people are stuck in that reality of anger. They don't realize that there's a bunch of other realities for them to experience, and in each reality we look at the world in a completely different place. That's why each frequency allows us to experience the world from a different set of lenses. So the lenses through which we see the world can be seen as these different levels of consciousness. Imagine walking into a busy room from the energy of fear, and imagine walking into the same room, a busy room full of people, from the energy of anger. The person in fear is going to see potential threats, potentially people that might reject him or who might bully him, whatever the story is. But he's going to see a totally different reality than the person walking into the room from anger, who's more likely to want to maybe attack and look for faults in other people instead of looking for faults in himself. Now, both of them are totally different realities. Each of those guys might have jobs or wanting to create businesses or have relationships, and they're going to experience those things from the different levels of reality. Can you see how these different emotional states dictate our entire reality? It's insane. But it doesn't even stop with anger. We can move up from anger. There's like the level of pride. From pride, we just think we're better than everyone else. Now, don't see pride as a bad thing. I mean, you don't want to hang out in pride all the time because it's shitty, but it's better than being in fear, right? To start being prideful. If you spent all your life or a lot of your time in fear, it's great to be prideful. Start bigging yourself up. See yourself as better than everyone else. People will tell you not to do that because it's a bit ugly, but fuck that. You can do that, and it's a great way of bringing you out of the heavier energies of fear, but you don't want to hang out there for too long because there's better realities that you can tap into. So we've also got the energy or the emotion, I'm keeping my eye on my dog who's playing in the river, of courage. Now, I'm experiencing a lot of courage right now as masculine evolution starts taking steps forward. I'm putting myself out to the internet more. I'm able to speak my truth more. I care less about offending other people, and I care less about what other people think. It gives me more courage. Now, there's still fear there. I'm still a bit afraid, but there's less of it, and I'm feeling courage. And now when I'm in the energy of courage, ideas are coming to me. I'm getting inspiration, I'm getting creativity. I'm coming up with all these ideas that I can create and put out into the world. Right? Now, when I'm in apathy, when I'm in fear, even when I'm in anger and pride, those ideas aren't flowing anywhere near as much as they are now. And so now I'm in the level of courage. I can see a whole new reality, and I can see potential. I see opportunities ahead of me. See opportunities to make a good life, create good money, to change people's lives in the process. I'm living in a different reality. I'm looking at the world through the lens of courage, and life is so much better. I'm more grounded. I'm more embodied. I can enjoy nature more. I mean, I'm just, I don't know if you can see the church there, but, I can look around and just appreciate life more because I'm less up in my head. I'm less afraid. And the less fear we have, the safer we feel, the more embodied we naturally become as our nervous system starts to regulate. So if you're caught up in depression, if you're caught up in fear, if you're constantly scrolling, if you're doing all the things you know are not helping you carve out the life you know you're here to live, okay, that's just you experiencing a particular reality based on the thoughts you're having and the feelings and the emotions that you're experiencing through your body. There's higher realities for you to experience. Tap into some anger. Get a bit pissed off if you're experiencing a lot of fear. If you're already pissed off and you already have a lot of pride, great, no problem at all. Welcome that. But how about courage? How does courage feel? When you say to yourself, can I experience courage within my body? What do you feel? In my experience, courage is a much lighter frequency to anger. Anger, there's still moving forward. There's still I'm going out into the world, I'm going to fucking do this. But in courage, there's less of a push, right? There's now more of a relaxed moving forward, okay, cool. No, the world's not as dangerous as I thought. I'm not under the level of danger than I originally thought I was when I was in fear and anger. Because fear and anger is fight and flight, right? Fight is anger, flight is fear. So when you're in these heavier levels of consciousness, you're essentially in the sympathetic nervous system part of your central nervous system, which is fear. And so it's going to make it very hard to create the life you want because of the heavier emotions that are related to that. And when you climb into courage, and a great way to do that, especially in business and in all relationships, is to ensure that both you and the person you're in relation with is benefiting from the relationship. Now you move up into the higher levels because it's not just about me, it's about us. And when you're focused on us, your energy increases. When you're focused just on me, your energy drops. That's the way we were built. So if you want to climb out of the heavier energies of apathy and depression, maybe look at fear. Is it that you can't do it, or just that you won't? If there's something that you really feel you can't do, you probably can. You're just telling yourself you can't. But in reality, you just don't want to. Right, good. Now that allows you to jump up to fear. Feel the fear. Cool. Enjoy fear for a bit. Now let's look at getting some fucking anger. Do you really want to be making yourself small and feeling stagnant your whole life? Do you want to get a little pissed off? Good, get a bit fucking pissed off. And then if you want to then climb up into courage, you want to look at, okay, rather than pushing out to the world and being angry, how about just believing that I've got this and seeing that maybe reality isn't as scary as you once thought, and practicing nervous system regulation techniques such as NSDR and meditation that's going to allow you to relax, start being more present and embodied and enjoying the world a little more. And from that place, now ideas are going to come through. And when those ideas come through, if you take action on them, that's going to raise your energy even more. And this is how creation works. Okay, so if you're stuck, you want to look at the reality that you're living in and see that that isn't the only reality. There's other realities for you to tap into. This is really powerful work, guys. If you want to work with me one-on-one on this, you can get hold of me through my website. Please subscribe, like. If you're having an experience or there's anything you want to mention in relation to what I'm talking about, put it in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.